Those of you who do not know me, I'm Debbie Holland. I'm the mayor here in Hutto, and I would just like to welcome everyone to this ribbon cutting for the Veterans Hill Temple College, Texas State Technical College, Hutto campus. The East Williamson County Higher Education Center campus is a testament to cooperation and collaboration between multiple organizations. And the result of that, you're going to be able to see a little bit later on when you start touring this campus and see what excitement is here for us in the future. There's some words that come to my mind as we have been sort of working up to this day, and you know, their excitement and enthusiasm, partnering and opportunity. And those are just a few of the words that describe what we feel that is in the future for Hutto, for East Williamson County, for Temple College, and for Texas State Technical College. I think it's interesting that just 2.5 weeks ago we celebrated Hutto's 100th celebration as an incorporated city. And I think it's very fitting that this is the first sort of official act that has taken place starting the next 100 years. And I'm anxious to see what all will come with this. I'm going to introduce, I think most of our council is here today, and I would like to introduce the city council that are present. If y'all wouldn't mind just standing as I call your name. Mayor Pro Tem Quintanilla Perez, Councilmember Ann Cano, Councilmember Paul Prince, Councilmember Michael Smith, and Councilmember Melanie Rios. For those of you who do not know these council members, this is one of the most dedicated and hardworking group of people that I have ever worked with. They're energetic, they're motivated, they are always pushing the envelope in terms of looking at new ideas and being willing to kind of step back and look at the big picture, because that's what our job is as council members, to kind of take that 30,000-foot view and always be looking to the future for Hutto. They all have a servant's heart, and I think that that's one of the main characteristics that is needed for someone that's in public service. What I'm going to do now, I'd like to introduce our Executive Director for the Hutto Economic Development Corporation, Mr. Scott Martinez. Scott has played a critical role in bringing together all of the different partners in this adventure, and it has been an adventure, and it's been an adventure that has moved rather quickly. I think that between when this started in 2010 and today, the fact that we're actually in a physical building and can start, it was a win-win for the ISD and for Temple College and TSDC and for Hutto certainly. So that is really an exciting moment. And Scott, I would just like to personally say thank you for what you do for our community, because it is wonderful.
Thank you, Mayor Holland. I also want to thank someone who is not here. Our late Mayor David Beeger was enthusiastically behind this project when it began, and I know he is smiling today that we've made it this far in this project. So I want us to recognize David Beeger and his support and early work on this project. I'm honored that Dr. Barron and Temple College asked me to make a few remarks this morning. Today is the beginning of a transformational journey in our community's history. Generations of Texans will benefit from the efforts of many that have made this project a reality. As I said election night, this project's success is a testament of what can happen when we work together for our common goal. The Hutto Economic Development Corporation is pleased to be a partner with the city and the Hutto ISD with Temple College and TSDC on this project. I want to recognize the Hutto Economic Development Corporation Board of Directors for giving us the resources and support to tackle this project. Board President Mario Perez, Gary Guthrie, Ann Cano, Doug Fell, Miranda Conley, and Scott Hazelmeyer have all been supported and really put us in a position with providing us the resources to carry out this project. I want to recognize the staff of the Hutto Economic Development Corporation, Shauna Royston and Aaron Graves. We've done everything from videos for this project to helping compile a 300-page feasibility study for the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board. And that's not something that we typically do as feasibility studies for our higher education centers, but obviously it was successful and we're here today. I want to thank a lot of the community members that worked tirelessly on this project. Michael Ray, Linda Herron, Denise Carrington, Debbie Bauer-Kemper, Sue Bairden, and others that put in countless hours with the Taking Hutto Higher Political Action Committee. It really was a community effort. I want to thank Keith Hickman, who provided substantial assistance with the initial programming and building input that was extremely important to really helping us define what the needs were for the institutions in this. And how could I not mention the Avery family? They definitely weren't passive participants in this endeavor. Anyone that knows the Averys know they aren't passive in anything they do, and definitely weren't passive in this endeavor. They offer support, encouragement, and ultimately a piece of their family legacy for this project. We'd be remiss if we didn't thank the Avery family, not only for this project that's going to happen in Hutto, but also for what they've already done for education in Central Texas. I know your forefathers would be proud. And on a personal note, I want to mention Ed Schmidt. Ed Schmidt was a great inspiration to me. I remember seeing Ed at Walgreens before Christmas, and he said, Scott, he was buying Christmas cards. His health was already failing. He comes up to me and he says, Scott, I want to make it to May so I can vote for this college campus, because he saw the importance of this. If ever you want motivation, have someone like Ed Schmidt say he's for something. That's all the motivation I needed to make sure this project and rally the community was someone like Ed Schmidt getting behind it. So I want to thank Ed Schmidt. He'd be smiling today also. It was important to Ed Schmidt and obviously the Hutto community. The Hutto community is responsible for the higher education center coming to Hutto. In difficult economic times, our community saw the value of this project and did the most American thing. They decided at the ballot box overwhelmingly that this was something they wanted. It wasn't a decision made by anyone but them. They made the ultimate decision on this. And I think that's a testament to this project being successful, is the community was behind it with 72% voting to impose a tax on themselves. That speaks volumes. I want to thank Williamson County Commissioner Ron Morrison, who has offered to, he and Commissioner Scored are going to be supportive on a roadway that's going to help the new college campus. And I also want to recognize State Representative Larry Gonzalez, who's here today. Larry will be coming to you over the next several years. Just be prepared. I'm going to go ahead and thank you for all the support you're going to give us. And lastly, I'm honored to introduce our next speaker, our congressman and friend representing the great 31st District of Texas, my friend John Carter.
This is an amazing day, isn't it? I mean, when you really think about it, I've been living in Williamson County since 1972. And that's a pretty good while. And when I moved here in 1972, the only thing that was in Hutto was a pretty good hamburger. And a small grocery store where you could go and get all the politics of the entire nation explained to you in 30 to 45 minutes. And now all of a sudden, through really inventive thinking and people challenging each other to do something very special, we've now got an institution of higher education that's going to be right here in Hutto. It's going to join what's now getting to be, in the southern part of our county, an educational belt we have all, through very innovative work by the various communities, brought higher education to Central Texas. When I was one of the young, I would say young bucks in Williamson County, trying to break my way into getting known so I could make a living as a lawyer, we used to sit around and brainstorm what would be the perfect thing for our community. And we said what would be perfect was that first off, let's have enough industries where if our kids want to come back and live where we live, they can find a job in this area. Well, we got their heads together, started to work. Sure enough, we started getting some pretty good sized industries in here. And a whole lot of the graduates here in Hutto and Round Rock and other places in Williamson County are now working in some of these industries that we couldn't have even dreamed about in the past. And now they're here. And now they're employing our children. And the next thing we said, we ought to be able to educate our kids right here at home. And I mean, just look around. And now we've got joining two really fine educational institutions together. And I'm very familiar with both these institutions and am a big fan of both of them. I visited Temple College on numerous occasions, and they always thought outside the box. I was amazed at some of the things they had done at Temple College to make that become an institution of first-class excellence. And then, of course, Texas State Technical College, really that's one of those unknown quantities that is educating our children and our young people in areas which we tend to forget, but which are great professions for people. In fact, I will tell you that I fly to Washington, D.C. every week, part of this job I got. I fly home every week, too. And I can tell you that I know at least one of the pilots that flies me back and forth. He got his education from TSTC and became a pilot, first flying for a cargo pilot, and now he is a Continental Airlines captain, and he never fails to come back and tell me hello, because his daddy and I were on a board together back in Round Rock back in the olden days, and I watched him grow up, and my kids and Brad grew up together, and so he always comes back and says hello, and it's a great reminder that now that young man is highly successful because of education he got right here in Central Texas, because of the inspiration of people like you who vote 72% to tax yourself so that you can educate your children. We're in serious times in America right now, and a lot of people are feeling down about it. But there's the future. It's not the stock market. It's not Standards & Poor's. It's not a political party. It's a youngster just like that. That's the future of America. The future of America is in the hands of these educators. There's sitting there, many very important educators sitting right over here. The greatest thing we leave, we leave big tall buildings, and what happens? They fall down. Or they burn up or something. We live big family legacies. We leave this, we leave that. We think it's so important. No, the only important thing we leave is the next generation. And the next generation will either be that very, very special something that makes an American, or they won't. And it's up to us as this generation to make sure that we give them the tools to not only make a living, but the tools to understand what it means to be a part of a very special experiment that's never been anywhere else in the world and never will be anywhere else in the world. And that's what our real challenge of the future is to keep that experiment, that special thing that makes us the United States of America. And then, of course, being a Texan, I have to point out that of all that, there's an even more special thing, being a Texan. And so we've got to preserve that too. Because those are the things that are going to carry the future not only of this country, of this whole wide world forward. We can fumble the ball occasionally, but we'll always pick it up and somehow we'll get it over the goal line. There's a few fumbles going on right now and people are concerned about it. But we are a different breed of cat. We are Americans. We are, when it really gets tough, we do the job. Well, we're going to do the job. And look, right here, a community votes to tax itself so that the next generation can be there to take over when we get time to rest. So this is a great day for not only this community and for Central Texas, but for the whole country. Because as we educate one child to maturity in this country and make a better citizen and a better American, we become a better American. and being the best just gets better. And that's what we're going to do. So congratulations to all of you and everybody in this room that's here, in some small fashion or big. You participate in this and this future growing thing that's going to make our nation, once again, a better place than any place else on earth. And never be ashamed to brag on it. You know, they say, why do you Texans brag all the time? I said, we got something to brag on. So let's hope that not only this community has blessed this operation, but let's hope that the Lord will bless this operation so that we will see great things come from these planes, and we will all be thinking back and say, one day, we'll think back and say, I was there when they cut the ribbon and the whole thing cranked up. Thank you for having me here. These are the things that make my job a good job, and I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
I just have to complain to whoever put the program together and had me follow Congressman Carter. Because I won't be as eloquent, I can guarantee you that. Well, just to let you know that not only are we being efficient users of your tax dollars in reusing this facility for a temporary higher education center and with the permanent facility being built, but also the mic cuts out every once in a while to save electricity. Welcome on behalf of Hutto ISD. We're so happy that this event is happening. A year ago, with all of the crazy things that we had to jump through in the hoops, I didn't think this was going to happen. I thought that anywhere along the line we would have been tripped up at the Higher Ed Coordinating Board, at the petition, at the board certifying the petition. Any of those things could have stopped this event from happening. But you know, it was a wonderful work and the vision of the folks that are in this room. And some of those folks I'm going to thank, and I'm going to re-thank some folks because they really need to be re-thanked. We had a lot of effort to make this happen here in Hutto, and it was the efforts of these folks that led to this event, and I think that we need to make sure that we honor those folks. First, this is a bittersweet moment for the school district. Obviously, we had to close this facility, and my children actually went here. My fourth grader and my second grader went here, but I can't think of a better use for this facility in the meantime. This is just a step in the right direction for our school district, and I really do believe that this is going to be the start of a seamless PK through 16 school district, where we have partners, great partners like TSTC and Temple that make this just a community that people look towards with higher education in general. But events like these don't just happen. They happen with a lot of planning and a lot of behind-the-scenes work. And some of those people that were instrumental in this, and you're going to hear from Dr. Barron in a minute, and also the folks at TSTC. Dr. Barron, Mark Smith, and the board members, and Daniel Spencer, I cannot say enough about the partnership that we've developed. I look forward to all the things that are going to come, and I can see great things in the future because of your leadership and the leadership of Temple in this community. Thank you very much for that. Also, the officials at TSTC, Elton Stuckley, Fred, who's always at everything in our school district and always here to help. We so appreciate the fact that you have a statewide mission, but I think your real mission is Hutto ISD. They just jumped on the bandwagon from the very beginning and saw this as the place that they needed to be. And it truly is great because of their efforts. I can't say enough about the presentations they made. They traveled, they took their show on the road at all of the public meetings. And regardless of whether or not there's one person in attendance or 100 people in attendance, they were there to let people know why this was important to them. And I think that was well communicated. Thank you. Also, the City of Hutto, the officials, the City Council, we have a very forward-thinking and visionary City Council. Ed Broussard, I can't say enough about the partnership we've developed. They just worked overtime on this project, and I think they committed the funds that needed to make this happen, and we really appreciate them. Scott Martinez and the EDC staff, we nailed it just because of that application you sent in. I cannot imagine where we would have been without your staff and your work. Thank you very much for that. And you've been a great partner. It was fun hitting the road with these two guys from the very beginning to go make presentations in front of Temple. It quite entertaining. So these guys are hard workers and a testament to what the quality of leadership is in this community. With regard to Hutto ISD, our board members, there was never any real discussion about we need to call this election for higher ed tax. We've got a very visionary board, and as a matter of fact, we've got now a regionally recognized board. We have a School Board of the Year for Region 13 because of all their efforts. So they're to be commended for all their efforts as well. Emily Boswell for helping getting the information together, and Ed Ramos, they were essential in getting some stuff together for us too. I'd like to mention Michael Ray with the PAC, and the PAC in general was phenomenal. But Michael Ray, he was so eloquent at the public meetings, he even had me convinced that I needed to vote for it, so, as if I was on the fence. The Avery family, I think they've already been mentioned, but they're going to get mentioned again because it's because of their visionary leadership with higher education that we have this facility. So, Commissioner Morrison, and I'm sure we're going to ask for more support for him, but also Commissioner, you've been a blessing too in this process. And of course our state rep, who we will call on many times to get the And finally, I wanted to save really the best person for last, and I apologize if I offend anyone, but one of the things that when I came to this community, almost from the very get-go, this individual kept talking about higher ed. We need to do this. We need to expand what we do with legacy and opportunities for our kids in our community. And that's Doug Gall, our board president. From the very beginning, Doug was in on this. He was a proponent of this, pushing this. His role in the TCAP board. Doug is standing in the back over there, and I just want to embarrass him for a second. Thank you very much for your commitment to this and making this dream happen. And in one last closing remark, I'm just excited and happy. I'm really looking forward to see how an elementary school is going to be used as a higher education center, and especially the restrooms. I really want to tell you how they're going to deal with that. So, and I'm sure they've dealt with it well. But one last thank you and a hope too. I understand we have some folks from A&M here today, Central Texas. We have a room for you over at the Higher Ed Center. Just to let you know. So, and we can paint a maroon hippo.
So, we have experience in having higher ed in an elementary school.
Excellent. So, we need more partners. So you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you all for coming out today, and thank you. This, as I said, this is a bittersweet moment, but we've turned something that could have been a bad thing into a good thing, and that's making lemonade. So, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is a partnership that I've long waited for, and a lot of people think that TSTC is only located in Waco. It's not. We are part of a statewide system. So for me to be here today, I have to have some support from my boss and from his bosses. And I'm happy today to announce that our board is appointed by the governor of the state of Texas. It's a 9-member board. Today, we are privileged to have 3 of our board members with us. Dr. Rolf Haberek, Chairman of the Board of Regents, TSTC Waco. Mr. Joe Gorecki. And Mrs. Penny Forrest. This would not have happened without the support, as I said, from above, from my direct supervisor, Chancellor Reeser. Chancellor, would you please stand to be recognized? I also want to thank all of the TSTC faculty and staff that have participated in this function. This is a partnership that we've been working on now with Temple College going on 5 years. And we finally came to the realization we have an opportunity to get started here without having the new building being built first. As Superintendent Killian said, this opportunity came up. We felt like it was an opportunity for us to get started. Some of the faculty and staff, when it was presented to us in April and May, they came to me and said, President Stuckley, I think we should start in the spring. And I said, we are. August. It's early spring. And so we've been in a panic mode working with Temple College, but I will tell you, I could not ask for a better partner than Temple College and the support that they've given us. A lot of people don't realize TSTC has a statewide mission, but the state is divided into service delivery areas. For us to go outside our locations, we have to be invited in by one of the community colleges. Temple College was gracious enough at that time, back when Dr. Nigliazzo was the president, to invite us in to come to be a partner in East Williamson County. So we're very, very thrilled to be here. I heard the comment about Mr. Cozine. Mr. Cozine, there's a lot of times I can't attend the functions. The chancellor asked me today, he said, Elton, how many times has this car driven to Hutto and to East Williamson County on this partnership? I said, well, we're on autopilot this morning, but it's always interesting. I always tell the story that with Mr. Cozine, he attends everything. I come to Hutto and I meet you people and I say, hi, I'm Elton Stuckley, the president. Where's Fred? Where's Fred? So Fred is here today again. And so we're very, very pleased. TSTC, with the partnerships with Temple College and the other partners that will be coming in, as the congressman said, we offer a unique education, technical education. Temple College does a lot in education, academics, health-related. We offer a lot in transportation and service and engineering. So we feel like we're a perfect blend in working in this community, Hutto, all of East Williamson County, on making what the congressman said a reality. It's not so much for us. As the chancellor and I talked many times, we have a long-term partnership agreement signed with this community. It's about the generations to come. One of my granddaughters lives up the road, and I talked with her last night, and I said, Emily, she said, Peepaw, what are you doing tomorrow? I said, I'm going to a ribbon cutting for the new location in Hutto, for the new higher education center. She said, Peepaw, I drove by there yesterday, it's just dirt. I said, sweetheart, that is the building you will see in 2 years. So she just laughed on the phone, but it's about the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren, and I'm just very, very pleased that TSTC is a part of it. Our mission is set by the state legislature. It's the same mission today as it was when I was a student in 1973 and 74. My goal was to go to TSTC, get trained in the shortest amount of time, and get a good paying job in the workforce. We're set up in this state to help provide a trained workforce for not only East Williamson County, but for the entire state of Texas. So again, to all of you, I'm not going to go back and thank everyone. This community is a motivated community. It is a community of visionary leaders who wants what's best for those generations to come. So we are very, very pleased to be here. At this time, I would like to introduce my partner, Dr. Glenda Barron, the president of Temple College.
Cleanup. Anybody we've missed, I get to do. I joined this partnership 3 years ago. And at that point, we weren't sure what the partnership was going to look like, where we were going to be, what was going to happen, and in what timeline. And our board has attempted to serve East Williamson County since 1997. And we've had a lot of discussion about where campuses are going to be located, who's going to do what. As you all know, you went through last fall where we had all the presentations and all. But the thing that I'm here to tell you is that the Temple College Board and the administration and staff at TC are committed to East Williamson County. You are so important to us. And here today representing the Temple College Board is our board chair, Mike Thompson. Mike, if you would stand and be recognized. I'm going to get up on the microphone and I'm just going to talk. Hopefully you can hear me. There are other people that I want to recognize. There are people here who represent the TC staff who have worked tirelessly trying to get all of this together. If you guys are standing, raise your hand. If you're sitting, stand up. I want people to see who you are. Come on. me Dr. Robin Ray. Robin, wave your hands back in the back. Robin is newly designated as the Director of Campus Development for Hutto. She will be located in this building for the next 2 years, and as we move forward to the new building, she will help with that transition. The other person that you definitely need to know is Dr. Dan Spencer. Dan, will you stand up? Dan is our Associate Vice President of our extended campuses, and he has been very involved here, and we appreciate what all you've done to move this forward. My introduction of the next person has been already brought about by other people. Mark Nigliazzo, would you stand up? Mark helped set the way for this when he was the president of TC, and I am so grateful to you for what you have done. And the good part is now that he's back in our Central Texas area, he is going to be our upper division graduate school partner as soon as he can get through some getting his campus established through the accreditation system. And we are glad you're here. Those other people who, Dr. Platt, I know you're here, several people from your campus. Would you have them stand, please? I want y'all to see our partners. Thank you so much for making the trip here today. We are really looking forward to that point where we all get together in the new building. I know that we have at least one representative from Texas State University from the campus in Round Rock. If you will stand, we'd like to thank you for being here. Have I missed any of our higher ed partners who are in the audience? Okay, we are really grateful for you being here. There's some people I want to talk to you about. We had a meeting in my building at Temple College where the administrative offices are on March 15, 2010. And Ed Broussard set that meeting up. Ed, would you stand up? Everybody who was there on March 15th, join Ed standing. Scott, Paul, Elton. I'm trying to remember who all we had. Mark Smith, Wayne Criswell, Gary Jackson. These people came to TC and said, what if we built you a building? That was one of the most amazing meetings I've been in because we went from 0 to 60 literally at that one meeting. And an hour after we started the meeting, the whole landscape of what was going to happen related to the partnership with TSTC in East Williamson County got on the fast track. And yes, we did have a lot of struggles. There was all the process we had to go through to make this happen. I can tell you, as someone who worked at the coordinating board for 20 years, never in the history of that agency has this kind of approval gone through on that timeline. It was absolutely meant to be, and it happened the way it should have happened. And for all of those of you who had a part in that, we are grateful. And then I want the taxpayers of Hutto School District to stand up. Come on, get up. I know you're out there. This would not be possible, and I can't thank you enough for what you have done, not only for TC and TSTC, but for all those generations to come. Hutto is a college town, and it's really special. Tom, are you ready to cut a ribbon? We'll make this official.
On behalf of the business community, the Hutto area, we want to welcome Temple College and TCCE to Hutto area. And with, boy, we're going to get a lot of practice because we get a ribbon cutting, then a groundbreaking, then another ribbon cutting. So that's what lies ahead. So here we go.
Are you ready? Ready. Go.
All right. Yeah.